What is up, Bayhive, and welcome back to the Beyonce Beat. Get ready, because we've got a whirlwind of updates that are going to blow your minds. First up, we're rewinding the tape to the very first Saturday Night Live episode, hosted by the one and only George Carlin, and uncovering a hosting strategy so unique, it's practically legendary. You won't believe what Carlin did that no one else has. Then, we're jumping to the present day to get the inside scoop from SNL star Bowen Yang himself. He's breaking his silence on the shocking exit of his co-star Heidi Gardner and addressing the massive cast shakeup that has everyone talking. What did Bowen Yang have to say about Heidi Gardner's departure? And speaking of cast changes, we're getting the inside take from Chloe Fineman. She's sharing her genuine reaction to the latest SNL shakeups, her thoughts on the new talent joining the iconic show, and hinting at some hilarious new impressions coming your way this season. Finally, we're going back to the roots with SNL original Larry Newman. She's reflecting on her groundbreaking era of Saturday Night Live and giving us her candid thoughts on the current cast changes. You don't want to miss these legendary insights. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a beat. George Carlin's SNL debut, a hosting strategy unmatched. Did you know the very first host of Saturday Night Live, the iconic George Carlin, did something no other host has done since? We're talking about his groundbreaking approach to hosting the inaugural episode back on October 11, 1975. While today's hosts are expected to jump into sketches, Carlin took a different path. Instead of appearing in any of the show's skits, he delivered 4 distinct stand-up monologues throughout the night. This strategy perfectly leveraged his strengths as a comedian, giving the brand new show's audience exactly the sharp, observational humor they expected from him. His first monologue mused on the absurdities of baseball, quipping that the entire goal of the game is to go home. He followed this with hilarious bits on what dogs do on their day off and the awkwardness of phone conversations, even starting a chant about the lack of naturally blue food. His final monologue even delved into his favorite topic, religion. This unique approach wasn't just a one-off. It set a precedent that was largely followed by musical guests and other performers in the show's experimental early days. While Carlin's monologues introduced musical guests like Billy Preston and Janis Ian, and even a mockumentary by Albert Brooks, his absence from sketches was a deliberate choice that highlighted his stand-up prowess. This was a stark contrast to later hosts like Paul Simon, who not only hosted but performed multiple songs and participated in sketches. Even when Carlin returned in season 10, he joined cast members in sketches, making his original hosting style even more remarkable. The SNL community is buzzing about this unearthed hosting strategy, with fans and critics alike marveling at Carlin's bold decision to prioritize his stand-up over sketch comedy. It's a fascinating look at the show's experimental beginnings and how early hosts shaped its identity. But what does this legendary move mean for the evolution of SNL hosts? And up next, we're diving into the emotional farewells and candid reactions surrounding the latest SNL cast departures. Bowen Yang speaks out on Heidi Gardner's SNL exit. Saturday Night Live's Bowen Yang is finally breaking his silence on the shocking departure of his beloved co-star Heidi Gardner and the wider cast shakeup that's rocked the iconic show. In a candid conversation on his podcast, Las Culturistas, co-hosted with Matt Rogers, Yang didn't hold back his feelings about Gardner, who was the longest-tenured cast member to leave ahead of season 51. He described her as one of the greats who will go down in history, praising her exceptional talent for writing sketches independently. Yang recalled a particularly touching moment where Gardner wrote a sketch for former castmate Punky Johnson, calling it one of the most beautiful, kindest gestures he'd witnessed, highlighting her immense heart and comedic genius. He also remembered how Gardner kept spirits high during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic with daily encouraging texts. While Gardner received the lion's share of his praise, Yang also expressed his deep sadness over the exits of other cast members like Devon Walker, Michael Longfellow, and Emil Wackham, as well as Please Don't Destroy member John Higgins. Despite the painful goodbyes, he stated he was thrilled to go back for the upcoming season, acknowledging the show's need for a new cast as reported by sources close to the production. The news of Gardner's contract not being renewed came as a shock to many viewers, who have voiced their dismay online following the confirmation of multiple cast departures. Will these changes bring a fresh new energy to Studio 8H? And next, we hear directly from another SNL star about her take on the cast shakeup. Chloe Fineman on SNL's wild cast shakeup. Saturday Night Live's Chloe Fineman is sharing her unfiltered reaction to the dramatic cast changes ahead of season 51, and it's a mix of shock and excitement. Speaking with Extra TV, Fineman admitted she's still processing the departures of fan favorites like Heidi Gardner, Michael Longfellow, Devon Walker, Emil Wackham, and John Higgins from the Please Don't Destroy troupe. Pretty wild, she described the situation, acknowledging the shocking stuff and a little heartbreak sadness. However, she quickly pivoted to the positive, noting that the show has such a turnover, and expressing her enthusiasm for the incoming talent. She specifically mentioned Ben Marshall from Please Don't Destroy moving up to featured player, and welcomed the 4 newcomers: Tommy Brennan, Jeremy Culhane, Cam Patterson, and Veronica Slowikowska. Fineman, heading into her 7th season, is particularly excited to work with the younger generation of comedians joining the show. "When I saw how young the new cast was, I immediately got a laser," she quipped, hinting at her own impression skills. While she's been inundated with requests to impersonate the mom with 1,000 texts from the Netflix docuseries Unknown Number, Fineman emphasized the rapid pace of pop culture means she'll wait to see what truly resonates closer to the premiere. Fans are eager to see her take on new characters and impressions, especially with such a dynamic shift in the cast. Can Chloe Fineman's impressions keep up with the lightning speed of today's trends? And finally, we get a historical perspective from an SNL legend on these very cast changes. Larry Newman reflects on SNL's evolving eras. Original Saturday Night Live cast member Larry Newman is offering a unique perspective on the show's recent cast shakeups, contrasting today's changes with her groundbreaking era. Newman, who starred in SNL's inaugural season in 1975, told the Beyonce Beat that she appreciates the show's consistent evolution. "What's thrilling about SNL, and the reason I think it's had its longevity, is that it has absolutely evolved with the time, with the generation, with the style and tone of each new comic voice that came along," she explained. She specifically praised new cast member Veronica Slowikowska, noting her talent and origin from the streaming and TikTok sphere. While Newman expressed sadness over Michael Longfellow's departure, noting his prior recognition in the comedy scene, she remains confident in the future success of all departing performers, citing Tim Robinson's rise as a prime example. Newman highlighted a key difference between her time and now. That was the time when Lorne didn't fire people. She recalled with a laugh that Lorne Michaels initially believed in not firing performers, a stark contrast to the more frequent cast changes seen today. She emphasized that every person who auditions for SNL is inherently funny and talented, ensuring that those who leave will find success elsewhere. As a board member for San Francisco Sketchfest, Newman continues to champion rising comedic talent and eagerly anticipates seeing what the new SNL faces will bring to the show. What does this shift in firing philosophy mean for the future of SNL talent? Stay tuned, because we've got one last quick recap of all the biggest stories. And that's a wrap on today's hottest news. We saw George Carlin's legendary, sketch-free hosting debut on the very first SNL. Then, we heard Bowen Yang's emotional take on Heidi Gardner's shocking exit from SNL. Chloe Fineman gave us her candid thoughts on the cast shakeups, and original SNL star Larry Newman reflected on her era versus today's cast changes. Don't miss out on any of the action. Make sure you're subscribed to the Beyonce Beat, hit that notification bell, and follow us on all social platforms for more exclusive content. We'll see you next time.